Hi there, it's Nicola and today we're talking editing. Don't start self-editing before you hear these tips. The show is brought to you today by the Forever Young Autobiographies Publishing Services. And this is new, and I've got a spring offer for you you won't want to miss. Also, there's some free sections to the Your Family Story system. And this will help you organise, plan and record a life story of a loved one. I'd be so happy if you could follow, subscribe and like the show, because it's all about learning how to write life stories for family and friends so that unique memories can live on. So welcome if you're new. Today's topic is editing, and it's one that's close to my heart, being involved for a couple of decades in print newspapers, as a journalist and as a copy editor. And I have sub-edited acres of text, and I know it is an essential part of the writing process, especially if you're writing an autobiography, a memoir, a biography, or another life story project. Editing is an investment of your time and your energy, and it can help you become a better writer, and it will make you a superstar with your readers. So I've got my 4 top tips for you today to make sure that your first draft, your copy, is all killer and no filler. The first tip I have for you today is how to handle puns and cliches. Now, I'll be the first to admit I love a good pun if I'm writing a headline playing on words, but there is a time and a place. Like most things in life, you don't want to go overboard on this one. Yes, less is more. So if you're seeing puns, you're seeing cliches, we get the impression that these words and these phrases are predictable. It makes your writing predictable. It makes it a little bit boring. Come on, let's be honest. It's unimaginative, and it gives the impression that your writing is shallow. I know that's harsh, but look, your readers want you to write with grit. They want you to be truthful, and they want you to write from the heart. So make sure you do that for them. Don't fall back on those easy fixes of whacking in some cliches and some puns. So that brings me to tip number 2, and this is fancy writing, everyone. If it's a common trap for new writers, you think, I'm not so confident with my writing, I better be fancy. I know you might have been told this at school, at uni or at work. You overcompensate by being, lots of long sentences, lots of flowery writing and verbose language. We don't need to do this to be a great writer. In fact, I suggest you cut all of this stuff out. Anything that's too complex, involves jargon, or is just, redundant. Get rid of it. We're aiming for something that's simple and succinct. Now, I've got some examples for you. You might be writing the word, say, I commenced school. No, we don't need to do that. We can just write, I started school. Easy, shorter than the word commence. Another example is, I started swimming when I was 10 years old. Okay, why don't we just say aged 10? Again, a lot simpler. An example of jargon which the police sometimes use is, they decamped the site. You could just say left. That's just an example of jargon. You probably wouldn't use that word, but just to illustrate the point, so jargon, just put it in plain English, they left or we left. Another example is, the colour of the car was white, or the colour of the dress was white. Just say a white car, a white dress. Too easy. Again, thinking simple words. Don't go for the flowery stuff. That brings me to point number 3, and this is to do with sentences, specifically long sentences. Now, I know people are a bit guilty of this. You usually spot them if you've got your razor eyes on, your eagle eyes, looking for the long sentences. They're usually quite big, they're boring, and they're a real struggle for your reader to get through. They're laborious. So we don't want that. We want to get rid of the long sentences. Ideally, there's probably a natural break in that sentence where you can cut it in two. That's usually what I do. But if you're writing, aim for sentences that are about 25 words or less. I know some of you are going to say, but sometimes you can't get around it. And okay, yep, make it rare, a rare occurrence that you use a long sentences. Try and be a good writer, break it down into easy sentences for your reader. You can usually do that for most ideas, okay? Just try that little bit extra to make the sentences short. But what about really short sentences? Are they okay? And yes, short sentences, only a couple of words, are fine. They're good because they break up the pace of your writing, the rhythm of your writing, and they make your writing interesting for your reader. So big thumbs up for short sentences. Again, less is more, don't go overboard there, but general rule, sentence 25 words or less. This brings me to my final point today, and that is taking a writing break before you start editing. This is perhaps the most important thing you need to do because you get too close to your writing. Sometimes you can't see the errors. So when you've finished your first draft, you need to take a break, whether that's the first draft of a sort of a short story that's going part of one of your chapters, or it's your complete finished first draft manuscript. Take a break. It could just be, say for a story, you go and make a coffee and then you come back and you start the editing. Or you could leave it for a few days, and if it's a whole manuscript, you're going to probably just let it settle for a few weeks. So then when you come back, you'll be able to see the forest for the trees, as that saying goes. You're going to have those typos jump out at you with fresh eyes. You're going to see the errors and you're going to see the omissions of things that you need to add. So that is my number one tip. Make sure you split up the writing and then the editing process. You don't want to do them at the same time. So there you have it. That's like a copy editor's quick and easy tips for revising and editing your own writing. Now, to recap, we talked about number one, handling cliches and puns. Number two, fancy writing, sentences, long sentences, short sentences, and finally, making sure that you take a break. Really, really important. So my hope with all of these tips is that you will be slaying those puns, those cliches, those fancy writing, long sentences. We want to see your copy, your stories absolutely shine for you and your readers. So I hope you'll give these a try. And remember, everything I've mentioned is just part of a bigger article that I have over at my website, which is foreveryoungautobiographies.com/editing autobiographies. So please check it out, as I have some more detail plus some links to other articles and videos, podcasts that will be of help to you. And while you're there, while you're here, leave me a comment. Which editing tip do you want to try, or are you trying, or have I missed something? Please let me know. Always love a good editing tip. And you can, again, leave me a comment here or go to foreveryoungautobiographies.com/contact. Now, this publishing services deal I have for you at the moment, it's if you book one of the new publishing services during September, you'll get 1 hour free. This is a great deal because at the moment I can do writing, I can do interviewing, transcribing, getting your work edited, and then getting it ready for publication. So you can hire me to do that, and if you've signed up to my email list, you'll get 1 hour free with anything you book in September. So that's nearly done, guys. September's nearly done, so please make sure you take advantage of this now. Also, I mentioned the free sections to the Your Family Stories system. You can get that by just signing up. I'll leave a link for you, but it's at foreveryoungautobiographies.com/free. So please have a look at that. I walk you through in the Your Family Story system how to plan, interview, record, and celebrate a loved one's life story. Exact process that I did to help my 100-year-old grandmother do her autobiography. So I really hope you can check that out. A big thanks if you're following, subscribing and liking the show, and also checking me over on Facebook. I'm over there too. I'd be really grateful if you could let others know about the show as it helps spread the word. And I'll be back again soon with another topic. And until then, everyone, happy writing.